Hello and welcome to a spoilerific Dead Space review. This is just a little something I'm trying out. You might enjoy it, you might not. If you don't, I'll stop doing it. But I thought that when I'm doing Let's Plays, rather than just hop from game to game to game like a deranged bunny, I will reflect on a game I've just finished and give it a nice old analysis. And so, Dead Space 2, the sequel to Dead Space 1, made by Visceral Games, formerly EA Redwood Shores. This is their third game. They previously made Dante's Inferno, which was fucking awful, which makes it a surprise that Dead Space 2 was so competent then. I'm going to review it on sort of two fronts, as a game and as a story. Now, as a game, it's a barrel of fun, a barrel of fishes. It's improved over the first game quite nicely, though I feel like I didn't give the other guns a fair shake. I mean, one of the big things about Game 2 was that now all of the guns weren't completely terrible. There was actually a good reason to use them. Everyone, even the flamethrower, was useful in certain circumstances, but I just kept with the plasma cutter and the line gun, and even then the line gun was something I never really utilised properly, which is a shame because I've discovered that the alternate fire of the line gun, that landmine thing, that could have helped me in so many areas that I hadn't considered, such as those weird three-bulbed tripod things in anti-gravity areas that threw those things at me. Mines can kill those in one hit. I wish I'd have known that. Then I wouldn't have had to waste a bunch of stasis and plasma ammo every time. But yes. The enemy variety has been quite nicely improved this game. I mean, in the first Dead Space, I think you had the slashers, you had the leapers, the scorpion-tailed guys, you had the lurkers, the baby with the tentacles. You had brutes, obviously the big ones that you had to hit from the back in Dead Space 1, but in Dead Space 2 that doesn't seem to be a problem. You had those. You had the stasis guys, the twitchers, the ones that moved really quickly and had creepy faces. What else did we have? Just bits and bobs, like the guys stuck on the walls and that. In Dead Space 2, we've got the pukers, who, whilst being annoying, are still a pretty nifty idea. And the new types of children, that's all a bit grim, but still, variety is variety. But the Stalkers, the Velociraptor guys, are easily the best new addition. They are the only necromorphs so far that feel intelligent. Whereas the other necromorphs will just sort of go blah and just sort of rush after you no matter what, giving no regards to their own safety. The Stalkers, they're clever. They'll hide behind things. They'll communicate with each other. I mean, they actually communicate. Those screeching noises they make, I've read up on it. And apparently they are significant. Those screeching noises are them communicating with each other, and they make specific noises depending on what's going on. If one of them spots Isaac Clarke moving from one hiding place to another, they'll screech to the others to alert them to the fact that he's moved, and all the different screeches they do, and it's all very nifty. Makes them quite tense to fight. Fighting them is never fun per se, but it's still very interesting. And again, apparently if I had a weapon that laid landmines, the detonator thing, then fights against them would just be silly, because I could hide in a corner, stick down a landmine, and just wait for them to get bored and charge at me, and then they'd all kaplode. But never mind that. As a horror, it's a lot less scary than Dead Space 1, and Dead Space 1 didn't scare me very often to begin with, but Dead Space 2, everything is very, very actionized. We've got that for a start. Everything, there's explosions all the time, and Isaac Clarke is pulling crazy stunts, and it's really the crazy stunts that make it difficult to be scared. It's hard to feel vulnerable as Isaac Clarke. He's just an engineer, he's not a soldier, he only has mining equipment to fight. That may be, but he's also a superhero, I mean, the end of Chapter 5, I think it was, we get attacked by that giant brute tripod thing, and we both get smashed out of, we both go flying into a vacuum, we land on a gunship, we have a fight while we're on the gunship, there's a huge explosion, and Isaac just goes flying, smashes through another window, does a bit of a roll forward, and brushes himself off, and is fine. That's crazy. He should have died like 57 times during that fight. And then there was that bit where he, you know, fell through all those ducts, landed hard enough to crack the metal floor underneath him, and was just like, yeah, hi, I'm Isaac Clarke, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. And as far as the story goes, it's very interesting. I like that we had a lot more character interaction this time. It wasn't just stressed out woman yelling orders at you, stressed out but marginally nice a black person also yelling orders at you but in a more helpful, friendly tone, and then both of them dying eventually. This time we had stressed out woman who was obviously going to be a traitor turning out to indeed be a traitor, stressed out crazy guy who you couldn't really figure out straight away. You thought he might be good because he was in the same predicament as Isaac Clarke, and in a way he was good, he couldn't handle his crazy. And then, of course, a shocking first for the series, we have woman who's actually helpful and nice. That was pretty cool. And then, of course, Nicole, the crazy, glowing, screeching hallucination thing. Possibly a bit overdone. I mean, it's hard to get scared of her when she shows up like every 5 minutes. And the message she was trying to deliver was about as subtle as a chainsaw, you know? Isaac is guilty about causing Nicole's death, okay? We can sort of get that from the very start of the game, where we see that message where Nicole plainly states, it's because of you that I'm on the Ishimura. And then we snap to present day, and Isaac is being interrogated by some sort of psychiatrist person, and is clearly in a bad way. We can sort of tell that he has guilt issues there, but we still, for some reason, have Nicole showing up every 5 minutes to say, what's wrong with you, Isaac? Feeling guilty about causing my demise? Well, you should do, you bastard. Nah. And it's not even getting into the fact that acceptance is step 5 of the grieving process and not step 4. I cannot believe that. It just, disgusts me. As far as what's going on, it's all getting a bit more confusing now. There are apparently at least 11 other markers, given that the marker was referred to as marker site 12 in the post-credit stingers. So that's a lot of sequels they can get up to. And what are these markers doing now? Because in Dead Space 1, the red marker, the one that was man-made man-made and sent to Aegis 7, reverse engineered from the black marker that is apparently still on Earth and is the original alien artifact. You know, we've got that. The red marker seemed to be benevolent. Its purpose was to, you know, keep the necromorphs in check. When it was on its pedestal, necromorphs didn't grow, and the hive mind, that massive alien, had no power. When the colonists, or rather when the CEC miners moved it from the pedestal, that's when the necromorph infestation started, that's when everything started to go wrong, and when Isaac is on the ship, the red marker is sort of manipulating his mind via Nicole as a way to get him to put it back on the pedestal, and as soon as you do that, all the necromorphs in the area immediately die. And it's only when, you know, stupid Kendra knocks it off the pedestal again that we have to go to final boss mode. So that red marker seemed to be good, for want of a better word, whereas this sort of yellowish, gigantic one that Isaac has made seems to be very keen on actually kick-starting the necromorph process. So it's sort of these markers want different things and they do different things as well, and this one seemed to want to cause a convergence event, whatever that is. It seems to be just the taking of a lot of flesh and turning it into something crazy. So that's all very interesting, or possibly, I mean, it's not without the realms of possibility that the guys who made this game just forgot what the marker in the first game did and assumed that it must have been evil. Because we've seen that happen before, Blizzard. Anyway, so we've got the markers under control. As far as Isaac himself, he is perhaps the single most badass engineer in history, you know. He's, again, not a soldier, just an engineer, and he's completely insane and has a unique form of dementia that's killing him, but unlike Stross, who succumbs to it, he's just like, yeah, you know, I've got a bit of dementia, it's fine, I can walk it off. That's, you know, pretty good heroic resolve there. And then, of course, There's all the ass kicking he does. And what else? Ooh, the Ubermorph, the invincible one at the end. That thing intrigues me. We're probably not going to learn anything about it because it's sort of been revealed that the last few chapters they did in a rush because they were running out of time. So they probably just threw him in there. But what is that guy? Because we had the Hunter in Dead Space 1. The Mercer's baby. Hang on. Come on, Throat, you can do this. Mercer's baby, you know, the necromorph he made by inserting necromorph tissue into a live human's brain, thus creating a necromorph that regenerated forever, somehow. This Ubermorph doesn't seem to be made of a human, you know, he's not, or many humans, he's not a mangled, twisted mess of lacerated flesh like all the other necromorphs is. He has smooth brown skin and alien features, particularly that sort of head. And in terms of, you know, his features, he looks a lot like the Hive Mind, which we can assume was a wholly alien creature not made out of humans at all, because it was trapped on Aegis 7 with the red marker. So, was that just a necromorph that completely came into existence on its own, or is it a necromorphized alien, like the Stalkers apparently are necromorphized animals? So, what was that guy made of? What is he? He intrigues me, mainly because he's cool looking, he looks a bit like a Vortigaunt from Hell, and that is just cool. As far as what else I have to cover in this rambling, stupid, crazy review of stupidness, no, that's about it, so I'm sure I'll remember something once I press the off button, but thank you for listening to this crazy tirade, and if you didn't, you know, I totally understand. Enjoy Batman Arkham Asylum, which is coming next.